Hello everyone and welcome back to another market review. This is Silent. Today we are looking at the NASDAQ December contract for 2025. We are starting off with the weekly chart. Again, if you remember, we were rolling lower below that old Newwick opening gap and started to overlap through the weekly wick constant encroachment. Today we ended up coming down below the previous weekly low candle and pulling off of that range today. On the daily chart here, you can see how we opened up. We dropped down initially down past the constant encroachment of this daily wick and into the upper quadrant of this old wick here on the daily, and then during the end of the day we pulled off of the low and then rallied higher past the daily open, coming up into that weekly wick constant encroachment and then closing off with a high for the day there. Going into next week, I'll be paying attention to this fair value up here, as well as seeing any sensitivity to this wick at the constant encroachment of that range. Rallying up and then selling off would be an expectation, or coming up into the fair value gap either Monday or Tuesday and then getting that sell off that we're wanting to see down under the 24,400 level. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see how price simply opened up near the low of that 4-hour imbalance. I moved the level from the low of this candle to the low of this candle here, and I've extended it out in time. On the open, we rallied up and then whipped down into that sell side liquidity and the higher time frame wick levels and pulled off of that low. We come up after rallying, we open here, drop down and then rally into that weekly wick constant encroachment as well as the gap here, and then to end the day we got a consolidation candle. On the 1-hour time frame, you can see how we opened up, had a consolidation, and then Thursday we get a really nice sell off and a continuation of that move going into the sell side liquidity and then reversing immediately on the open of New York, dropping down and nearly hitting the Newwick opening gap of September 21st, and then doing a displacement and getting above the buy side liquidity here, back into the Newwick opening gap and consolidating to end of the day. I'll be paying attention to this fair value gap here to see if there's any weakness through it. If there's no weakness through the midpoint of that candle, I'm going to be thinking that a rally would be the first indication of a manipulation move on the week, and then a continued sell-off back through that fair value gap there. On the 15-minute time frame, I'm extending the Thursday sell side imbalance. I've included both of these ranges here. As we open in Asia, we are opening lower in Asia than the previous Asia range. On midnight, we cross over and then rally up. After dropping below the opening price here, we're starting to see it as a bearish order block. Selling opportunities are offered inside of these old Newwick opening gap levels. In the overnight, we sell into those old lows and then have a reversal on the open, leaving this gap, rally up, put in a down close candle that is signaling to us that this fair value gap here is becoming an inversion array. We rally up through it, reclaim the old Newwick opening gap, and it continuously presses on into that Thursday sell side imbalance and coming off of the high that was created and then consolidating to end the day. On the 5-minute time frame, I wanted to give you a closer look on the Asia range. We put in this up close candle during the later portion of the Asia time window. After crossing through midnight open, we come up and retest that up close candle, and then we begin rolling lower, shifting under a short-term low, and then really displacing under that initial low of the day, and we drop through below it with a fair value gap. So that's showing you that any of these rallies up into this range is a selling opportunity, and it's going to continue being bearish until that higher time frame sell side liquidity is purged. We consolidate a little bit inside of this range during the pre-market session, drop under the sell side liquidity created in the pre-market, and then a very strong reversal that offers little to no retracements here. We finally get a little bit of back and forth price action here that gives a nice opportunity to get in on a long here, and it continues pressing higher with a lot of strength. Another accumulation here. We run up and hit that target on the higher time frame, and once the objective is finished, we simply begin offloading those buys down here with the liquidity that's paired with the buy side liquidity here. After the liquidity is paired, we start to sell off and fall into a consolidation to close the day. On the 1-minute time frame, all I'm doing is adding our first presentation fair value gaps. You can see how the first one of the session today was a clear inversion fair value gap. So this is signaling to us a really strong reversal and an unwillingness to need to retrace. So that's why we get this kind of price action. There's small little back and forth movements here that signals a accumulation of buys, with these down close candles being so large and respecting the wicks on the discount portion of the range before rallying higher, crossing above that new week opening gap. We rally above it, consolidate at this old Friday PM session first presentation, finally dipping back under it with this fair value gap here. Price launches, references the old new week opening gap again, rallies once more. As we go into lunch, we eventually hit that objective, and then a small consolidation and a reversal here with the significant shift under this low. Every attempt to rally has been sold off here. And then going into the afternoon, we get one more sell off, the rally up above it, consolidation, manipulation, rally above, retest the current new week opening gap, and then pull off of the range high to end the day and settle around the new day opening gap. There's a lot of action today, so it was very nice to see. I actually captured a pretty big drop during the London session, but immediately on the open of New York, it rallied and then came back above all of that price range and even took out the Asia range high, which was very interesting. So going into next week, we're going to keep our expectations low, stay humble for the first couple of days of the week, and allow something significant and obvious to form and play out. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you learned something. If you found anything insightful, please let me know in the comments. And as always, like and subscribe. I will see you all next week.